The storm clouds over Cleveland grow darker by the week, and at the center of the chaos stands Kevin Stefanski, a head coach who suddenly looks like a man coaching for his career. The Browns have become a franchise defined by missteps and near misses, but the latest unraveling feels different. It feels terminal. It feels like ownership is nearing the breaking point. When a team loses 8 straight games, 6 to close the prior season and 2 more to open the new one, the word slump no longer applies. This is collapse. And if something doesn't change soon, the Stefenski era in Cleveland could end before the calendar flips to the new year. The warning signs are everywhere. The offense, once imagined as a balanced machine built on clean quarterback play and a bruising run game, has crumbled into dysfunction. Ken Carman, who has lived through more Browns heartbreak than he cares to admit, called this stretch one of the darkest in franchise history. His words cut because they come with the weight of truth. He didn't see a team merely losing close games. He saw a team that looked uncompetitive in the second half, a team incapable of responding, a team wasting one of the league's most ferocious defenses with an offense so broken it can't even stumble its way to 20 points, and yet the real sting lies not just in the losses themselves, but in the absence of answers. Carman suggested the Browns could throw in a new face like Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel just to see if something might click. But even that felt like a hollow idea. Because the deeper problem isn't personnel, it's system. As Carman put it, the scheme itself offers no path forward. You could plug in a rookie, a veteran, or a Hall of Famer, and it would still sputter. That is why the blame keeps circling back to Stefenski, the architect of this system that now looks like it's actively sabotaging its own players. Anthony Lima took the pessimism a step further, declaring that the writing may already be on the wall. He admitted it might seem early in the season, but early collapses become defining trends if left unchecked. And in Cleveland, the pattern has already been established. 8 straight losses speak louder than any press conference reassurance, and Lima made it clear that ownership might not wait until January to clean house. A mid-season reset, something once unthinkable, is suddenly within the realm of possibility. If that happens, Stefenski won't fall alone. General Manager Andrew Berry, once praised for his savvy roster building, now finds himself tethered to the same sinking ship. Reports suggest his job could also be in jeopardy, and not just at the end of the season. Insiders whisper that Berry could be forced out alongside Stefenski, a symbolic cleansing of leadership meant to reassure a restless fan base that has had enough of watching wasted talent rot on the field. Mary Kay Cabot underscored the unraveling by pointing to the 3 objectives Cleveland laid out for itself: build an elite defense, develop its quarterbacks, and establish a reliable offense. Only one of those boxes has been checked. The defense is terrifying, smothering opponents and doing its job week after week. But the other 2 goals? They've disintegrated into chaos. The quarterback situation is a revolving door, and the offense has collapsed into inconsistency and miscues. Cabot's assessment was devastating. The Browns prepared poorly, staged a 4-way quarterback competition that prevented rhythm from forming, and left themselves scrambling with no clear leader under center. Her most biting critique came when she questioned why Joe Flacco wasn't given more time in camp to establish chemistry with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Those miscommunications have become glaring in games. Mistimed routes, dropped connections, and sloppy execution that screams of a lack of preparation. For Cabot, the preseason wasn't just inadequate, it was negligent. And that negligence, she warned, could end up costing both Stefenski and Berry their jobs. The quarterback carousel has only magnified the disaster. First, Kenny Pickett was shipped out. Then came a revolving door of temporary solutions, with new faces arriving and departing before they ever settled in. At one point, it felt less like a professional football franchise and more like a desperate audition process. And while all this chaos unfolded, young prospects like Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel were left in limbo, caught between flashes of opportunity and a system too unstable to support them. Now rumors swirl that Sanders himself may be weighing his future in Cleveland. With Joe Burrow sidelined in Cincinnati due to turf toe surgery that could keep him out up to 14 weeks, the Bengals suddenly find themselves in quarterback limbo. Whispers suggest they could look towards Sanders as a possible solution, and with Cleveland in freefall, it's easy to see why Sanders might consider jumping ship. For a young quarterback with upside, Cincinnati's stability, even without Burrow, might feel like a safer bet than drowning in Cleveland's dysfunction. Stefanski, for his part, has tried to project calm. In a recent press conference, he spoke of the upcoming test against the Green Bay Packers as a great challenge, framing it as an opportunity for the team to regroup. But what stood out most was what he didn't say. Asked about the offense, he gave vague platitudes rather than specifics. There was no clear plan, no detailed explanation of how the Browns intended to fix their glaring problems. For fans and analysts, that silence was louder than words. It suggested a coach out of ideas, a man who no longer had answers to the questions piling up at his feet. The reality is simple. The Browns cannot continue like this. Every game where the offense sputters and the defense's brilliance is wasted inches Stefanski closer to the exit. Ownership, already under immense public pressure, may soon decide that patience is a luxury they can't afford. If a change is coming, it will be swift, decisive, and brutal. Stefanski's job isn't just on the line, it's hanging by a thread. And yet the bigger tragedy is what this says about the Browns as a franchise.
For years, they have been caught in a cycle of instability. New coaches, new quarterbacks, new systems, all promised as solutions, all ending in disappointment.
This latest chapter feels painfully familiar. But it also feels urgent, as though Cleveland is approaching a breaking point. With every misstep, every wasted Sunday, the franchise risks not just another lost season, but another lost era, defined by squandered potential and leadership failures. What happens next will define the Browns for years to come. Do they hold on to Stefanski and hope he finds answers, or do they rip the bandage off now, accepting the chaos of a mid-season overhaul in exchange for the possibility of a fresh start? Do they risk losing young talents like Sanders by continuing down this path, or do they take bold action to stabilize the locker room and salvage the season before it spirals further? The questions pile up and the answers remain elusive. But one thing is certain, the clock is ticking on Kevin Stefanski. Every possession, every game, every week will be weighed against the growing sense of inevitability that his time is up. Cleveland has been here before, but the stakes feel higher this time.
Because now it's not just about saving a season.
It's about saving the future of a franchise that can't afford to keep repeating the same mistakes. What do you think? Is it already too late for Stefanski to save his job, or can he still turn the Browns around before ownership lowers the axe? Should the franchise blow it up and start fresh, or does this team deserve one more chance to find its rhythm? And if Sanders decides to leave, how devastating would that be for a team already drowning in uncertainty? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next deep dive into the stories shaking the NFL.